Now let's just go ahead and see what we can customize, and then I'll go back to widgets and show you. Now this is something that's important to understand. Different themes are going to have different customization options. So this is all going to change depending on how your theme is set up. Okay, so if you wanted to put a site logo up here, we could upload an image, and it gives you some ideas about the size. So ideal is 100 to 350 pixels, and the ideal height is 35 to 40 pixels. So if we wanted to make something, we could come back and upload that and see how it looks. The site Fav Icon is going to be the little thing that shows up here. This is a really nice feature that it's built into the theme. It's pretty awesome, actually. So we could make a little favicon and upload the picture. And social media buttons, you can put URLs and stuff will automatically appear appropriately. And slider options, you have some different slider options here. I'm actually happy with the way that it looks. This bio for the author, this is kind of cool about this theme, is that originally we had decided we wanted a contributors page. Well, what's really kind of nice is that the bio author, or the author bio, I should say, is built in so that whenever you actually go to look at a post, let's try this again and look at a post, when you look at the post down below, if I were to actually update this this avatar, then in fact it would show that picture, and then if somebody wanted to click on it, actually I guess it's not clickable, but if somebody did want to look at the post for my profile, then a lot of that other information that I put in contributors would be fine. So but if I disabled it, this would not show up, and at least that's my suspicion. So and if we were to disable related posts, you would see down here that it wouldn't show these. I think that this is kind of a nice feature. It's a really good way to increase user engagement. And this is where we change that color. So for instance, if we wanted to see how this changes, then we could go here and click on select color and maybe change to something else that's a little bit, I don't know that that's any better, so to be real honest. So we could also try something like black, but then my concern is that, let's go put 6 zeros. My concern then is what's going to happen on the front page whenever we go and see on our hover. That's not going to work, right? That's definitely not going to work. So the other thing that we could try is something like white, you know, so that might be okay. And then if we actually go and click on the page, you see that at least it's not that bright yellow. You could also try some sort of a pale gray that's a really pale gray. That might work. Okay, so it's not the end of the world, right? If see, that seems to be just fine. And we could actually add some color into it as well if you wanted to make it sort of like this kind of thing. And then we could see that might not be too bad whenever we're actually looking at the artwork, and I don't know, I'm still not sold exactly. So if I desaturate that completely again, or maybe even just a little bit of saturation would be okay. Let's see where that goes. So it's really kind of you know, up to you with your kind of like where your flinch points are, I guess. And so mine are in different places, and this is maybe not too bad. It's just like a little bit of saturation, but not very much. Okay, and so we could do save and publish, and at least that's saved for right now. Okay, so let's go back now, and down below colors, there's a link for background image. I'm not going to select one. I actually am kind of happy with the way that this is turning out. And then for menus, we'll get to menus in a minute. But one of the things that you'll notice is that if I click on this, it just has a bunch of stuff with recent posts and stuff like that. If I wanted to create a new menu and then add the widget here, then I could do that so that it gives me something really specific to work with. And then again, there's widgets where it says homepage, menu widget area. You see that all of that stuff that showed up here is showing up here. And so I can change this right here where it says meta. I could click this and I could say remove, because I don't really want that meta there. I'm just going to get rid of it. And then you'll see that it'll go to update it. Now if I click it again, you see that meta is now gone. All right, that's not necessary. Categories is kind of nice to have. Archives, if you look, it's got October. That's not necessarily something at this point that we would need. If you think about it, you don't necessarily want something when a website's that new. Maybe that would be worth adding later, but I'm going to just remove it for right now. And where it says recent comments, that's kind of nice if you have comments, but I'm not planning on having comments because I don't want to mediate and or monitor them. So right now we've got search, recent posts, and categories. So you can see here that right off the bat we've got the recent stuff, and then we also have categories underneath. And then categories, maybe what we're going to do later is we're going to figure out a way to do a different kind of menu instead of this one. It's a little more organized. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Save and Publish, and I'm going to get out of this and close this, and I'm going to go back into my dashboard area, and I'm going to go back to where it says Widgets, and I'm going to click on that. And widgets are really cool. And by the way, this keeps telling me that it recommends that I install advanced custom fields. I want to see how much of this that I can get away with without actually installing it, because it might actually serve all of my needs for the time being. Advanced custom fields is definitely an advanced plugin, so I'm not going to recommend that you use that for this assignment. Anyway, so what we've got here is this homepage menu widget area, and that is something that's custom for this particular theme. So just realize that anything that we do that is special to this particular area is probably going to be something that would disappear on other menus. So on other themes. So that's kind of important to understand. So as you can see here that there's some different menu options for widgets. I actually want to create a special menu. If you look at this, this is just the widget. A widget is a thing that is going to show up in a specified place. So if I look here, this says the post menu widget area. This is a widget area that is designated to show up on a specific page. So if I wanted to put something that maybe doesn't exist anywhere else, like maybe the calendar, let's just see what happens if I put a calendar here, and let's just call it calendar. And I don't really recommend using this, but I'm going to save this. The reason I want to do this is that I want to check and see how this actually shows up. So if I come back over here and I am on this page that's actually a post, if I refresh the page, I want to see if that widget area had changed. Now this menu area is referred to as the widget area in this particular theme, and you see that the calendar is showing up. So what's kind of cool is that if you go back here and look at this widget area, I'm going to collapse this for a second, you see that we have some different options to customize what widgets or which widgets show up in which different types of pages. So a post can have something special inside of it. It can have many different things inside of it that are unique. A page can have other things that are unique. Archives can have other things that are unique. And we also have this footer widget, and we didn't really take a peek at that. Let's jump over here. But if you were to scroll down, we can put some stuff inside of our footer widget. Now, because, originally I was talking about having, the desire to put all of the categorical stuff down here. Well, the thing that's nice about this theme is that I sort of don't have to deal with a sidebar. I can just grab it this way, which is really, really convenient. That's why I like it so much. So maybe I'll reevaluate the idea that I'm going to have a destinations page. Well, maybe I still will, but I'm going to reevaluate whether or not I need to have it in a footer, because this way it can be persistently available on every single page. Now, if I were to actually go back here to the main page, to the main landing page, I should say, then you'll see that one of the things that I'm missing is an actual ability to navigate to regular pages. if I click on this menu, it's not necessarily there either. So that's something that's kind of an important thing that's missing. And so I'd probably want that available from everywhere. And that might be a special menu that I would want to make. And let's just go ahead and I'm going to show you how to make a menu. We'll come back to this in a minute, okay? But I'm going to show you how to make a menu. I'm going to go to menus, and I need to actually create a new menu name. And so what I can do is for right now, I'll call it pages, and I'll create that menu. And now I can, once it's created, once this finishes refreshing, I can add stuff to it. And then later I can go and use that menu in a widget somewhere. So let's look at this. We've got pages, and I don't want sample page. In fact, we can go get rid of that in just a minute. But right now I've got contact and I've got contributors. The other thing that I had said that I was going to do was make something called destinations. So I don't have that yet, but I can always come back here and add it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on contact and contributors, and I can click on add to menu, and it's going to add that stuff here. And you could also say auto add pages as they're, basically as they're made. So that's something else that I could do as well. And but here, you would need to order it the way that you want. I think that contributors make sense to come first. And I could just say auto add, and then that way, anytime I add something that's a page, I know I want it to be part of that menu. So I'll go ahead and I'll say that, and I'll save the menu again. Now, that's also going to save sample page there as well. So if we were to, we can't really even check it because right now the menu's not showing up anywhere. I'll get rid of sample page in a minute though. Let's go back into widgets, and then whenever we go there, what we can do is where it says home page menu. Now what I can do is where it says custom menu, I can drag this widget up here, and in fact I want to put it just below search. People like to see search right at the top, and I'm not sure what I want to call it yet, so I'll just leave that blank and you'll see how it shows up. Where it says select menu, you see now I've got a pages menu, and I'll save that and we can take a look and see what happens. Okay, so if I come over here and I refresh my page, you'll see that I can look at right here, and then I've got these two contributors and contact. Now, I don't know that that really makes sense to have it right up at the top like that, especially not without having some sort of heading. So I think that I do need some sort of heading, and search maybe is fine right up at the top. So we'd have to kind of figure out a hierarchy because this is just a little bit too much, I think. So let's go back in here and we'll take a peek.